On Osrc News at 7, Federal Government moves to standardize Nigeria addressing system. Senate reshuffles Committee on Tax Reform Bills to enhance transparency. Commuters, road users call for quick execution of Ado-Ikare-Akoko Road. And from the foreign scene, Cuba experiences nationwide blackout amid power plant failure. Thanks for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Sahid Aribisala. The federal government has announced plans to reinvigorate the National Addressing Council in a bid to address challenges associated with the addressing system in Nigeria. During a pre-meeting of the council chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa, the Vice President stated that the new addressing system. The Vice President described the move as essential for improving service delivery, enhancing urban planning, and driving economic growth. Addressing stakeholders at the meeting, Kashim Shettima noted that standardizing Nigeria's addressing system is long overdue, adding that it will end decades of infrastructural deficits and create a systemic approach to national address mapping. The Senate has adjusted the membership of the committee that will meet with the delegation of the federal government to resolve the concerns on bills being reviewed by the National Assembly. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who announced this during the plenary today, said the Senate Chief Whip, Tahir Mungono, will be removed from the committee and replaced by Kaka Shehu, the senator representing Borno Central Senatorial District. During Wednesday plenary chaired by the Deputy Senate President Barao Jibrin, the Senate constituted a 9-member panel to liaise with a delegation of the federal government chaired by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi. But at a plenary today, Akpabio raised concerns that principal officers should not be part of the meeting, in line with the resolution of the senators at the closed-door session that none of the principal officers would be part of the meeting between the lawmakers and the federal government delegation for the sake of transparency. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has warned that the country's vision of building a 1 trillion economy by 2030 will remain an illusion except the private sector and development partners are fully engaged. The Vice President, who gave the warning at the inaugural Development Partners Roundtable on Economic and Financial Inclusion at the State House, Abuja, identified some unsettling gaps yearning for Sarah's attention, including low penetration of digital financial services among women, just as he listed some socio-economic barriers behind these inequalities, including low incomes, limited education, and restricted access to financial tools like credit and insurance. Shettima implored development partners and other stakeholders to bridge systemic inequalities and foster an inclusive, unbiased financial system that benefits all Nigerians irrespective of gender or geography. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has insisted that the 60,000 barrels per day old Port Harcourt refinery was up and running with in full swing, contrary to insinuations in certain quarters. The Group Chief Executive Officer, Mili Kyari, gave the confirmation at the commissioning of the Nupeng Towers in Lagos. A statement from the NNPC's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Shuneye, said Kyari extended invitation to human rights activist and lawyer Mr. Femi Falana and all those in doubt to join the NNPC on a tour of the refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna to verify their status. Although the refinery was said to have commenced operation after several postponements, A cross-section of Nigerians have expressed doubt over the veracity of the claims by the National Oil Company. The NNPC had announced that the facility was churning out 1.4 million litres per day of petrol, aside other products like kerosene, diesel, and others. Kyari noted that President Bola Tinubu's interventions in the oil and gas industry by way of executive orders were yielding positive results, with more investments coming in and prospects of more jobs in the industry. The deplorable state of the Ado-Ekiti-Ikare-Akoko road is a source of growing concern among residents and commuters who are calling on the government to ensure the quick execution of the road reconstruction project. Apart from the incessant road mishap and its attendant effects on vehicles, the poor road network, according to motorists, leaves them vulnerable to criminals. Despite the approval of the dualization of the 31-kilometer road project by President Bola Tinubu, commuters are concerned about the absence of construction activities. There's more in this report. The Ado-Ekiti-Ikare-Akoko road is a critical route for commuters traveling between Ekiti and Ondo states in the northern part. This stretch of road in recent times has become a vital link for travelers moving from Lagos to northern Nigeria. However, the influx of articulated vehicles, among other trucks transporting goods and travelers, has left a trail of destruction on the road. What should be a simple journey has turned into a perilous ordeal. The road is pothole-ridden with crumbling patches and rough, uneven surfaces that slow down traffic and put vehicles at risk of breaking down. While the approval for the dualization of this road spanning 31 kilometers by the federal government was reviewed by Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele in March 2024, the project is yet to bring forth any visible impact.
This is Ikare. The road has been a problem for the past few months. From the beginning of this year, the trucks, the lorries, and all those motors flighting the north to Lagos, they have now diverted to this one and they have destroyed all the roads. And the road is about becoming a death trap to the travelers moving from Ikare to Ekiti State. If nothing is done, within a very few months to come, no motor will be able to apply the road. And it's going to become very dangerous.
According to locals, the increase in the number of heavy-duty trucks and large cargo vehicles using this road has become alarming, constantly contributing to its worsened condition.
And this is the only one way to link to another state, which is Ekiti State. Maybe some people are going to Abuja or whatever. This is the only road they are always passing. Sometimes we meet like a 4-trailer, 5-trailer that will get accidents. Some will turn to that pitch. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 people will die. So at the end of the day, sometimes all here just the smell, up and down. To assess that, say sometimes we cannot be able to pass this road. We appeal to government to consider us, because if they can help us to appeal to federal government to consider us to sign this road, all of us will be happy.
While the local community and residents fear that without significant immediate intervention, the road could collapse entirely, temporary succor was provided by Akoko-born politician and former Ondo State lawmaker Olugbenga Oyibo, who facilitated the grading of some failed sections.
Honorable Oyibo, he used the opportunity to grade some part of the road on personal note, particularly in the area. That's where all those gradings were made. If the governor can do something about it.
The former lawmaker said the move was geared towards alleviating the sufferings of motorists and reducing their exposure to security threats that could arise from criminals exploiting the bad road.
We just want to, bring support to motorists along that road, because that is where I ply every now and then when I come home. And all those lorries plying that road, they've really destroyed the road, they've damaged the road a lot. Most especially during the rainy season, the road was nothing to write home about. Most especially when the festive period is coming in. So a lot of people will be coming home to avoid accidents and all what have you.
The people of Ikare-Akoko, Ogbagi, and Akoko in Ondo State, as well as motorists, are calling for swift execution of the road project. This road is more than just a link between states. It's a lifeline for countless Nigerians traveling for work, business, and family. But without urgent attention, it could soon become a greater tragedy waiting to happen. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News. Stakeholders have emphasized the vital importance of water, sanitation and hygiene, WASH, in combating neglected tropical diseases (NTDs). At a one-day technical review meeting in Accra, Ondo State Capital, the Director for Public Health, Dr. Stephen Fagbemi, stressed collaboration among stakeholders to eradicate NTDs in the state. He stressed that improving WASH conditions is crucial for preventing NTDs. Osrc's Abidemi Akinrote tells us more.
Neglected tropical diseases (NTDs) pose a significant public health threat in Nigeria, affecting millions, especially in rural and disadvantaged areas. This meeting with health agencies focused on the essential role of water, sanitation, and hygiene (WASH) in preventing NTDs and advocate for increased investment in WASH and NTD programs. Director of Public Sanitation and Hygiene, Tolulope Akintade, affirmed the agency's commitment to providing potable water as a key strategy to curb disease spread in the state.
If we try to eliminate this, the level of diseases in our community will reduce drastically. And how? By taking potable water and by making sure that we guide ourselves in terms of personal hygiene and proper washing of our hands and do all the needful.
Meanwhile, Director of Public Health, Dr. Stephen Fagbemi, shared preventive measures aimed at eradicating NTDs from local environments.
Many of these things like cystostomiasis or pityriasis has to do with people going to the river, people using water, not potable water, drinking, wading in water, and all of that. Even our washing of our hands, we still have helminthes, open defecation, especially in the rural environment, not having, sanitary provisions, toilets in the homes. So these are some of the things we have to address together.
UNICEF specialist Monday Johnson and General Manager of Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency in Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Oladimeji, discussed effective strategies for eliminating NTDs from communities and outlined plans to reduce NTD prevalence in rural areas.
Number one is the chemotherapy, where drugs are given to those that are being infected. And then the other part, which we are not doing very well, is the preventive aspect, which is behavioral change, hygiene practices, sanitation practices, which will act, as a barrier from reinfection of the diseases, into the people that have already taken drugs and these diseases have been killed inside them.
So once we have identified that there is need for safe water, actualization of basic sanitation, and improvement in our moral and the moral behavioral hygiene attitude, there will be change and there will be reduction in the NTD.
To effectively combat NTDs in the state, collaboration among government bodies, health agencies, and communities is crucial for enhancing public health and well-being. Abidemi Akinrote, Osrc News.
We're due for a break. On the news at 7, we'll be back with more stories. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. To more stories, the need for collective responsibility among all stakeholders in the education sector took center stage at the 19th Annual Retreat and 76th Business Meeting of the Association of Registrars of Nigerian Universities held at Elizade University, Ilaramokin. In his keynote address, Professor Olufemi Bamiro, a former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, delved into the history of Nigerian universities, highlighted the challenges that have plagued them, and outlined strategic solutions to reposition the nation's institutions. Omoro Langbeji reports that the event also featured the acting executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, Chris Mayaki, among other notable stakeholders. The report.
Navigating the challenging terrain of university administration in Nigeria, retrospection into the past and projection into the future was the theme for this year's annual retreat and business of meeting of the Association of Nigerian Universities Registrars held in Ondo State. The host and registrar of Elizade University, Mr. Omololu Adegbenro, said the theme compels participants to reflect on the journey, identify challenges, and forge sustainable pathways for the future of higher education administration in Nigeria.
Let us engage in candid and constructive discussions that will yield actionable solutions. I urge each of us to actively participate, exchange ideas, and network in ways that will enhance our professional practices and ultimately improve the landscape of university administration in Nigeria.
Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Kayode Ijadunwola, believed that the outputs of the retreat will go a long way in improving the landscape of Nigerian university administration.
When we meet like this, you're able to compare notes and share demonstrable best practices that can make us all contribute meaningfully to the growth and the progress of our various institutions.
Keynote speaker and former Vice-Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Olufemi Bamiro, said university education still has the capacity to provide lasting solutions to the nation's challenges if properly managed.
It cannot be business as usual. But managing change in a university is not easy. But I said that it is relatively easy. It's alignment of factors.
In his goodwill message, Acting Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Chris Mayaki, encouraged stakeholders to put in more efforts in ensuring that the vision of Nigerian universities are sustained.
Administrators and academics must work together, in a multi-stakeholder collegiate. We must be very collegiate. You can't be a standalone. You can't say, this is a big office of the Vice Chancellor or the big office of the Director of Academic Planning. I don't care what the whole world says about me. You must, as a matter of deliberate strategic planning, be collegiate to form a positive and productive partnership to overcome all the obstacles and forge ahead.
Chairman of the association, Ifeoluwole, was optimistic of eventful and impactful retreat.
I am very confident that our time here will not only be enriching, but our discussions over today and tomorrow will undoubtedly shape the way forward for the registrar's role in advancing the university system and will also foster greater collaboration and understanding amongst us as registrars.
The two-day program will accommodate 3 paper presentations on various topics from different scholars, while election for new leadership of the association will bring the retreat to a close. Omoriola Ngbeji, Osrc News.
To commemorate this year's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in society, National Council for Women's Society in Ondo State has embarked on sensitization exercise. Supported by Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, the association, in partnership with United Business Women Association, has as a theme, "Time to Act is Now, Orange the World." Omoro Langbeji reports that the sensitization exercise also featured campaign rally led by the state president of the association, Mrs. Oluseyi Odushola.
16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which commenced on November 25, is celebrated globally to eliminate violence against women. This year's exercise with the theme "Time to Act is Now, Orange the World" is to create awareness on the need to urgently end the menace. President of the National Council of Women's Society, Ondo State, Oluseyi Odushola, encouraged women to be intentional in building a society that accommodates all genders. She encouraged women to support one another in all areas to give women the voices needed at the decision-making table.
It is time to have the consciousness that you don't need to place your son above your daughter. It is time for you to take care of all the things that the girl's child needs, so that by the time they grow up, they will become a responsible woman. We need to train them, to empower them.
Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, represented by Special Advisor on Gender, Olamide Falana, advocated collective support to one another.
Women here are resolute to also be the support base for the other woman. Women have decided that they will do all in their own care to ensure that they protect young girls, and also women and widows and those who are vulnerable in society from every form of gender-based violence.
Other leaders at the event harped on good character and friendliness to gain the deserved respect.
The work of gender-based violence is not too much in the larger society like this, but it's at the grassroots level. SCWS, are you working at home?
Diversity, equity, inclusion makes us a more powerful force to reckon with. And that is something that we have that most countries in the world don't.
The association, which has representatives from different groups in the state, embarked on a walk spreading the message on the need to end gender-based violence. Omoriola Ngbeji, Osrc News.
Now to the security front, where in a bid to ensure a crime-free Utah, the Ondo State Amotekun Corps has deployed over 1,200 personnel to beef up security across the 18 local government areas of the state. The Corps Commander Adetunji Adele announced this while parading 22 suspected criminals for various criminal offences. Joy Pius reports that the security outfit has also commenced a 24-hour border patrol in the neighboring states of Osrc, Edo, ahead of the Utah season.
The 22 suspects paraded by the Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps, were arrested across the 18 local government areas of the state. According to the Amotekun commander, Adetunji Adeleye, the Corps arrested 3 suspected kidnappers, while the other 19 were arrested for offenses such as robbery, conspiracy, and burglary, among other offenses.
I want to state that one of the soft targets unknowingly harbored a kidnapped victim for more than a week. And our investigation showed that it might not have been totally breached, that the man kept in his custody was kidnapped. Please, this period, be wary of visitors you allow into your privacy. While we request your support in contacting the Amotekun Corps on our distress call line, which remains 0807 99 999 89.
The Amotekun commander also urged residents to ensure that their second-hand products have the relevant receipts to avoid buying stolen items. As a way of ensuring a crime-free Utah, the Corps commander stated that 1,200 personnel have been deployed across the state to check crimes and criminality, adding that the command is collaborating with other security agencies to map out strategies to ensure that the influx of visitors does not increase the crime rate in the state.
Men of the Ondo State Security Network Agency Amotekun Corps, in collaboration with all mother security agencies in Ondo State, have mapped out strategy to ensure that influx of visitors and so on does not increase crime rates in those states. We will continue to work around the clock to ensure the safety of lives and property during this yellow tide period. What you will observe in a couple of days from now is the presence of Amotekun men at strategic locations and black spots everywhere within the 18 local governments. This will no doubt curtail the excesses of these criminals.
The Amotekun commander assured residents of the agency's continued commitment towards security of lives and property in Ondo State. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
And outside Nigeria now, millions of Cubans have been plunged into darkness as the nation's power grid has suffered yet another failure. Kemisola Ojomu tells more.
In the dark years again, at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, Cuba's national electricity system collapsed for the third time in less than 2 months. The entire island was left without electricity, with the exception of few hotels and buildings with generators. The government says it was caused by disconnection of the country's largest power generation plant, the Antonio gas, brought on by a deteriorating infrastructure, an acute economic crisis, and one natural disaster after the other.
Work and education-related activities will be suspended during this national electric energy contingency. Nevertheless, basic services will be maintained based on the conditions this group has. If conditions allow it, other services can also be provided to the population.
Cuba's obsolete power plants have been struggling to meet demands for decades. But now the systemic problem has come to a head, due largely to the dwindling supply of oil imports from Venezuela, Russia, and Mexico, which are used to fuel the plants. Cubans say they were not surprised, just increasingly frustrated by the latest blackout, which left millions of people without power.
In my partner's house where I live, we don't have gas either. If there's no electricity, we can't cook. We need firewood for that. Everything is a little complicated. I didn't realize it was a general blackout again. Let's see what happens.
The energy minister assures people the recovery process is on the way. What he didn't mention is for how long. Kemisola Ojomu, Osrc News.
A manhunt is underway in New York after the boss of America's biggest health insurer was killed in what police are calling a targeted attack. The gunman shot United Healthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson in the back outside a hotel. Odwaya Sawyer has details.
Just before sunrise on a busy New York street, the hooded gunman approaches his target and opens fire. 50-year-old Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was shot in the back and the leg. He was pronounced dead just 30 minutes later, turning Midtown Manhattan into a crime scene.
I was paying attention. I was holding my phone, then I hear the shot, And when I look at the guy was a gun, like the silent gun, got like a black gun. And I saw him after he shot him, he ran across the street.
Police say it does not appear to be a random act of violence.
The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target.
After initially leaving the scene on foot, the gunman was spotted on an electric bike in Central Park. New York police are asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect. They even offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest, but because this appears to be a targeted shooting, they believe the public remains safe. United Healthcare, the nation's largest insurance provider, said in a statement they were deeply sad and shocked by Thompson's killing, noting that Brian was a highly respected colleague and a friend to all who worked with him. New Yorkers were also shocked. The tourists seemed to take the news in stride.
It's not feeling good, but actually I'm not worried because I think it's safe here.
Absolutely love New York.
Yeah.
Love it. My first time here and I absolutely love it.
But as police searched for clues and the motive at the hotel, they also flooded Rockefeller Plaza, a show of force as thousands gathered to watch the annual Christmas tree lighting just blocks away. Oduayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
And that's OSRC News at 7. Thanks for watching. Good evening.